Good evening, good evening, good evening, family. Welcome to another edition of Thorough Black Talk with your sister Keisha, your brother Tad, your brother Ashe SJ, along with our weekly correspondent, Sister Marcy and brother Blacksmith, on the check-in, on the check-in, on the check-in. Hope everybody is doing well. Boy, the heat is on in the United States of America. The heat is on. I don't know. Hot and sticky and I don't know, but I love this hot weather. I'm a July baby, so it works out good for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. But hope all of you are staying cool, calm, and collected. Don't let these people get on your last nerve. Don't let them jobs drive you crazy. Don't let them family members drive you crazy. Don't let nothing drive you crazy. You know what I mean? It's time to get it in. Time to get it in. Time to get it in. Got a lot to discuss. A lot has been happening in the news. We're gonna go over tonight. But first, I want to give some quick shout outs. Shout out to the BK William Mackey History Club, Brother Ray, Brother Mike Gray's the History Hitman. Got to check them out every other week. We always post their Zoom History Club meetings live every other Wednesday. So you can check out the Thorough Black Talk Facebook page for further details. Also, New Day Liberation Radio with Empress Chi, Dr. Filet, comes on every Saturday, 10:30 p.m. Don't miss it. Don't miss it on the Blog Talk Radio Network. And of course, we always post the link so you guys can listen and tune in at your leisure, at your leisure, at your leisure. You know what it is already, family. So let's get right on into it. Tonight, January 6th, we got to give honor to Philando Castile, who was murdered on July 6th, July 6th, 2016. A 32-year-old brother who was fatally shot, during a traffic stop by a police officer, forget his name, Yanez, I believe it was, of St. Anthony's Police Department in Minnesota, St. Paul's, Minnesota metropolitan area. The brother was driving with his girlfriend, Diamond Reynolds, and her 4-year-old daughter. At 9 p.m., he was pulled over, and the two officers, after asking for his license and registration, Brother Philando Castile alerted the police officers that he had a firearm in the vehicle and that he was also licensed to carry that firearm. He then notified them that he was reaching for that firearm and letting them know. But before he can get his hand around, he was shot. Brother Philando Castillo was trying to show the officers that he did have a license, but he couldn't even get to his pocket before he was shot in front of his girlfriend, Miss Reynolds, and her 4-year-old daughter. So we want to give honor to Philando Castile, and we'll just, go over this real quick, and we'll come back and discuss it, family. Hold on.
His girlfriend in the car, pulling out her phone and then capturing the moments right after. Her exchange with the police officer, now seen by millions across this country. The pictures coming in now here in New York City of protesters gathering near Union Square. And just a short time ago, the governor of Minnesota asking, would this have happened if those passengers were white? He said, I don't think so. We begin with ABC's Gio Benitez in Minnesota.
Stay with me.
This is Diamond Reynolds streaming live on Facebook from her cell phone just moments after her boyfriend, Philando Castile, was shot by police during a traffic stop over what she says was a broken taillight. She says Castile told the officer he was carrying a licensed gun.
He's licensed to carry. He was trying to get out his ID and his wallet out his pocket, and he let the officer know that he had a firearm and he was reaching for his wallet, and the officer just shot him in his arm.
The police officer pointing his gun into the car. Reynolds calm and clear. Her young daughter in the back seat.
Waiting for a back. I will, sir. No worries. I will. He just shot his arm off. We got pulled over on Larpener.
I told him not to reach for it. I told him to get his hand out.
You told him to get his ID, sir, and his driver's license. Oh my God, please don't tell me he's dead. Please don't tell me my boyfriend just went like that.
Keep your hands where they are, please.
Yes, I will, sir. I'll keep my hands where they are. Where's my daughter? You got my daughter?
Then officers, guns drawn, order Reynolds out of the car.
Get on your knees. Get on your knees.
Now on the ground, she never stops live streaming.
They threw my phone, Facebook.
Police perform CPR on Castile on the street. Reynolds now detained in a patrol car, her cell phone still recording.
I don't know if he's okay or if he's not okay.
Her daughter still with her. Reynolds finally breaks down.
I can't really do because they got me handcuffed.
It's okay, Mommy.
I can't believe they just did this.
Just had to remind us never to forget, because these murders happen so frequently, we tend to brush them over. But it's very important that we remember, these tragedies, as the momentum grows for reparations and, about injustices as far as affirmative action and other Supreme Court decisions. We have to remember that we have no friends out here. And remember, this young girl saying to her mother, it's okay. A 4-year-old trying to console her mother as she witnesses her boyfriend being shot down. And so, a lot of people talk about, well, you have your gun license, a bit more safe. You be all right. Well, we know that not to be true. So let this be a reminder, whether you have a gun license or not, remember the murder, July 6, 2016, of Philando Castile. Never forget, never forget, never forget. So, family, the shenanigans continue. The shenanigans continue. Now, we coming into this election cycle. A lot of Democrat and Republican candidates are seeking out the black vote, trying to get you on board for the 2024 presidential election. Still today, these political parties understand the strength of the black vote. But we have to remember that no matter what they're saying to us, it doesn't change the game. It doesn't change the game, whether you're Democrat or Republican, right? You have to also remember, who are we pleading to? I remember Attorney Maddox used to say, black folks love to ask the wrong questions, knock on the wrong doors, and talk to the wrong people about what's going on. Now, remember a few episodes back, we talked about the connection of DNA and family, why it's very important to understand your family background and your DNA. Remember, we talked about connections, family bloodlines, right? Well, as you plead your cause to the Democrat and Republican parties, I want y'all to take a look at this. This was published by Reuters.com. Explore the U.S. elite ties to slavery. Reuters found that 118 of America's most influential leaders have a slaveholding ancestor. Explore information about their forebears and the people they enslaved. In an examination of genealogies of America's political elite, Reuters found that at least 118 of the country's most influential leaders, presidents, lawmakers from the last sitting Congress, governors, and Supreme Court justices have a slaveholding ancestor. In notifying political elites of their family ties to slaveholding, we identify which of their ancestors enslaved people, how many people that ancestor enslaved, and how many generations removed that ancestor is from them. We also sought comment from each political official and understand how learning about their family connection to slavery might affect them personally, and whether that knowledge might inform their views on policy matters. In some cases, Reuters discovered documents that included the names of those enslaved by ancestors of the elites. In those instances, the names of the enslaved are pictured along with links to explore the full documents that contain those names. That information and more can be seen by searching the name below or clicking on the leader's photograph. Now, here you have the senators up here. You got your congressional representation here. You have your presidents here. You have 2 Supreme Court justices and the rest governors down here. So it does, and again, this is Republican and Democratic parties. Take, for example, I want to scroll down to, hold on, where is it? When you look at larger numbers of enslavement, remember we talked about slave sex farms, breeding farms, and you can adhere to that last broadcast where we talked about that to give you a little bit of insight on slave breeding. Sex farms. So when you look at people like U.S. Representative from Georgia, Rick Allen. Rick Allen is a direct ancestor of Jeriah Harris. Number of people he enslaved was 133. Rick Allen is 5 generations removed, right? Elizabeth Warren is on here too. She on here too. You got Barack's family on here too. Barack Obama's family. You got Joe Biden's family on here. No wonder, he passed them crime bills against black folks. You got Joe Biden, right? Thomas Randall, 1 person enslaved. He's 5 generations removed. Or so they say, right? So again, as you plead your cause for reparations or injustices and you wonder why you can't get a hate crime bill, look at who you pleading your cause to. The descendants of slave masters. Bill Clinton, him too. Barack Obama, him too. Him too. Justice Amy Coney Barrett. Her ancestor Joel J. Coney. Number of enslaved, 21. She's 6 generations removed from him. Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorish. 5 generations removed. Governor of Kentucky. Enslaved ancestors Thomas Joyner. 15. 5 generations removed. So people can run away from this stuff if they want to, but it is what it is. I have put no faith in the duopoly that we are forced to vote within. Don't play these games. Step away from the political process. Remember your heritage, right? Remember your ancestors. A few times we talked about the National Negro Civil Liberties Party. George Edwin Taylor, first black man to run for president. Wasn't Barack Obama. Wasn't Dick Gregory. No, George Edwin Taylor, under their own political party. Their own political party. If you're going to do that, because you can't win with the duopoly. I see my brother Blacksmith on the check-in. Let me get brother Blacksmith in here. Hold on 1 second, family. Brother Blacksmith.
Hey, peace, sister. How you?
Good. How you feeling?
I'm good. You're looking good, sweetie.
Thank you. Thank you. You as well, my brother. You as
Thank
well.
you. Thank you.
So, I pulled up this document from Reuters.com, and it talks about, the various congressional members, 118 to be exact,
Right.
congressional members, former U.S. presidents, um, Supreme Court justices, and several governors who
Mhm.
are descendants of slaveholders. Now, for example, you have Pete Sessions, right? U.S. representative from Texas, descendant of Richard Sessions, who had 96 people enslaved, and he's 4 generations removed.
Right.
Now, as Black people plead their cause, I think it's very critical that they understand the bloodlines that these people come from before they start pleading causes to people and wonder why things ain't getting done.
Uh-huh.
You understand?
Right.
So, for me, I want to know from you your perspective.
Well, it doesn't surprise me because for some time I've already known that in order to even run for president, you have to share blood with the royal family of England, and we know their part in that. So I believe that a faction of the good guys,
Mm-hmm.
the Trumps and those guys, if you want to call them good guys, whatever, the lesser evil, if you will, so that we don't get into labels. But I believe that they've allowed a lot of information to come out so that everybody's going to know who to go up against in these final days. I also believe that that solar flash that I've been talking about since I've been on the show, and even before, way before that, is going to happen soon. I'm not going to say dates or anything like that, so don't nobody ask me when is it going to be and all this and that. It's all over the internet if you look for it. So I believe they're doing a lot of these laws, these draconian laws, in the last days to have us backpedaling instead of us being assertive about what's ours and what we are going to inherit rightly. So
I'm glad you said that. Now, that leads me to what's currently happening in France right now.
right, exactly.
Can you expound upon what's going on?
Well, it was a similar situation to the video you just showed with Philando Castile. I don't know if he was black or Arab, but he wasn't white. Guy got shot by the police in somewhere in France. I don't know the exact story. And they've been going ape crazy since then. And that's been at least 2-3 weeks now. As well, since the lockdown started, they never stopped protesting in France, but they stopped reporting it on the mainstream media. So they've been protesting for years now. It just went kinetic with this last incident. But the intel that I got was saying that was the underground way of getting rid of Macron, who's a homosexual. His wife is his actual husband. His wife, like Barack Obama and Michelle.
Whoa, wait. Say that again. Say that slow, Brother Black. You gotta say that slow now.
Macron's wife is a man, like Michelle Obama and Michael, like that.
Dun, dun, dun. You heard it here, family. You heard it here. But going back to what you said, they've been going ham for a minute now.
Yes, ma'am.
So I beg to question, what is wrong with, or give me your perspective. What do you think is wrong with U.S. citizens who tend to take this lying down? All of this police brutality, raising retirement ages, in European countries, they going ham right now. Your thoughts, Brother Black?
The reason why the United States doesn't get like that is because it's a country of immigrants, in my opinion. It's a country of immigrants, and a lot of immigrants know if they mess up their immigrant status, they get deported straight away. So what the bad guys did, and Biden in particular, did was allow people to come into the country just like they did over in Europe, the same thing, but with Arabs as opposed to people mainly from south of the border. So that's who's turning up for the most part. Remember a few years back when the media was railing against Trump for saying, like, look what's going on in Sweden and so on and so forth. Them Arabs over there is tearing it up, and they don't like non-Muslims. Even the Ukrainians that went to the UK as a result of the war that they're having now with Russia was saying that actually it's a conflict, it's not a war, because the UN never ratified their borders, so it still belongs to Russia technically. But anyway, what I was saying was, as far as the Ukrainians are complaining that there's too many Muslims and blacks in the UK and they're refugees. So they thought they were going to come to a white England, not knowing there's a whole bunch of people that look like us over there, and and a whole bunch, and more Arabs and Indians as well. London is full with Indians from India.
You mean East Indians?
In India, yeah, Indians from India, not indigenous Native Americans.
Right, East Indians.
Right.
So I agree with you on that perspective. I definitely agree with you. But I don't know. I would hope that there is an awakening of some sort.
Right.
With people here in the United States, because, you know, it seems that the system itself is becoming more and more oppressive. And, you know, we just laying down and taking it. But I want to jump back here to these U.S. representatives who come from descendants of slaveholders. Now,
Right.
you know, my maiden name is Hopkins. My maiden name is Hopkins. You know, my family ought to check it. Here you got Dina Titus, U.S. representative from Nevada, direct ancestor of Francis Hopkins. Number of enslaved, 183, 6 generations removed. Now, I didn't get a chance to go through this list, but I'm definitely going through this list of people because, you know, for those of our ancestors who were on these slave plantations, we were listed as property to those enslavers. And so with this Reuters piece, not only do they list the ancestor of the U.S. politician who held slaves, but as you can see here, they give you a list of the names of the people who enslaved. So for those of you who may want to, you know, research and check this out a little bit further, the link is in the description. Let me drop it now in the chat as well, so that, you know, you guys can check this out at your leisure. Give me a second. I'm gonna put that in there right now. So again, as we talk about these candidates, I should say, that they are trotting out in front of us, let's remember what our brother Malcolm X said. Hold on, family.
In America, there's no such thing as Democrats and Republicans anymore. That's antiquated. In America, you have liberals and conservatives. This is what the American political structure boils down to among whites. The only people who are still living in the past and thinks in terms of I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican is the American Negro. He's the one who runs around bragging about party affiliation, and he's the one who sticks to the Democrat or sticks to the Republican. But white people in America are divided into two groups, liberals and Republicans, or rather liberals and conservatives. And when you find white people vote in the political picture, they're not divided in terms of Democrats and Republicans. They're divided consistently as conservatives and as liberals. The Democrats who are conservatives vote with Republicans who are conservatives. Democrats who are liberals vote with Republicans who are liberals. You find this in Washington, D.C. Now, the white liberals aren't white people who are for independence, who are liberal, who are moral, who are ethical in their thinking. They are just a faction of white people who are jockeying for power, the same as the white conservatives are a faction of white people who are jockeying for power. Now they are fighting each other for booty, for power, for prestige. And the one who is the football in the game is the Negro. 20 million black people in this country are a political football, a political pawn, an economic football, an economic pawn, a social football, a social pawn. And the liberal element of whites are those who have perfected the art of selling themselves to the Negro as a friend of the Negro, getting the sympathy of the Negro, getting the allegiance of the Negro, getting the mind of the Negro. And then the Negro sides with the white liberal, and the white liberal uses the Negro against the white conservative. So that anything that the Negro does is never for his own good, never for his own advancement, never for his own progress. He's only a pawn in the hands of the white liberal. The worst enemy the Negro has is this white man who runs around here drooling at the mouth, professing to love Negroes and calling himself a liberal. And it is following these white liberals that has perpetuated problems that Negroes in America have. If the Negro wasn't taken, trapped, tricked, deceived by the white liberal, then Negroes would get together and solve our own problems. It was the white liberals that come up with the Civil War, supposedly, they say, to solve the Negro, the slave question. Lincoln was supposedly a white liberal. When you read the true history of Lincoln, he wasn't trying to free any slaves. He was trying to save the Union. He was trying to save his own party. He was trying to conserve his own power. And it was only after he found he couldn't do it without freeing the slaves that he came up with the Emancipation Proclamation. So right there you have deceit of white liberals making Negroes think that the Civil War was fought to free them. You have the deceit of white liberals making Negroes think that the Emancipation Proclamation actually freed the Negroes. And then when the Negroes got the Civil War and they found out they weren't free, the Emancipation Proclamation, they found out they still weren't free. They begin to get dissatisfied and unrest. They come up with the same white liberals came up with the 14th Amendment, supposedly to solve the problem. This came about, the problem still wasn't solved because the white liberals is only a political trick. Civil War, political trick. Emancipation Proclamation, political trick. 14th Amendment to this raggedy Constitution, a political trick. Then when the Negroes begin to develop intellectually again and realize that their problem still wasn't solved and unrest began to increase, the Supreme Court, another so-called political trick, came up with what they call a Supreme Court desegregation decision. And they purposely put it in a language. Now, you know, sir, that these men on the Supreme Court are masters of the King's English, masters of legal phraseology. And if they wanted a decision that no one could get around, they would have given one. But they gave their Supreme Court desegregation decision in 1954 purposely in a language, phraseology, that enabled all of the crooks in this country to find loopholes in it that would keep them from having to enforce the Supreme Court desegregation decision. So that even after the decision was handed down, our problem has still not been solved. And I only cite these things to show you that in America, the history of the white liberal has been nothing but a series of trickery designed to make Negroes think that the white liberals were going to solve our problem. And is beginning to teach the black man that our problem will never be solved by the white man. That the only way our problem will be solved is when the black man wakes up, cleans himself up, stands on his own feet, stops begging the white man, and takes immediate steps to try and do for ourselves the things that we've been waiting for the white man to do for us. Once we do them for ourselves, once we think for ourselves, once we see for ourselves, then we'll be able to solve our own problems and we'll be recognized as human beings all over this earth.
So there you have it. There you have it. There you have it. The ancestor made it plain. He made it plain. It's clear. It's clear. And these people are playing with legal language. And now it has worsened with the advancement of the Asian hate crime bill and the LGBTQ crime bills. They have twisted the legal language and the political understanding that confuses the masses of the people. And you will have people who will still try to work within the duopoly. And it ain't going to work. I see my sister Marcia on the check-in. Let me bring her in here. Sister Marcia, how you doing? How you feeling?
Hot in here. New York is hot, but
Yes, it is.
it's a beautiful day. Thank you, Thorough Black, for having me back on, Black on. And let's get it popping.
Always, always. Africans on the rise. We got to show love, show love, show love. So, I showed, I don't know if you were able to hear Sister Marcia, but I showed, article from Reuters magazine, or Reuters.com rather. They listed 118 U.S. representatives, whether it be congressional, from the Supreme Court, you have governors, you have former presidents, and congresspersons who are descendants of slaveholders. And so I asked the question, as momentum for reparations, and a hate crime bill for African Americans pursue, what are your thoughts on the masses of our people continuing to ask the duopoly for such things, not knowing, or whether they know, that they're asking the descendants of slaveholders to help them literally? So I don't want people to say, well, they talking that black talk. They talking that black talk. They just saying stuff. Here it is in black and white, for everybody to see. So your thoughts, Sister Marcia?
Well, unfortunately, we have become a nation of beggars, so to say, of what we want instead of takers of what we need. Because we can tell people what we want.
Wait, sis. Say that again. Say that part one more time, real slow. 'Cause I want the people to understand what you're saying. Go ahead.
We can beg people to give us what we want, or we could go out there and take what we need. And as long as we are, oh, please, Billy, oh, please create this for us, instead of creating things for ourselves, we're going to always remain in this cycle. And if we pay close attention, we've created things for ourselves time and time again, and they usurp it. They rebrand it into their own stuff, because we were feeding our children before breakfast. That was part of the Black Panthers' 10 points. Like, nobody stays hungry. And now all of a sudden, a few years later, there are free lunches, free breakfasts for children. That wasn't there 20 years before that time. And now today we forget its origin. We forget the origins of so many things that is keeping us sustainable today, because we think they gave it to us. No, we took what we needed and they stole it from us, and we're okay with it. Well, at least the system is doing it now, and we don't have to worry about it. When we don't care for ourselves and we demand other people to care for ourselves, then we're going to stick in this rut. I think we no longer want to be in this rut. Affirmative action has showed us that, we better start sticking to ourselves, because there are no more quote unquote free passes. And I bet you anyone who went to college, university, or any other type of program, they didn't go through those status programs, but they'll make you feel that those status programs is what allowed you to participate in whatever university. I know we're too smart and we study too hard to get where we are, to sit there and say that, oh, affirmative action has gotten us through the door. It hasn't. So we've created our way, and we can continue to create our way. But yeah, keep begging. See where it gets you. 10 years from now, you'll see who you are.
Absolutely, sis. But hold that thought, family. Hold that thought. I want to go back to Brother Malcolm. Let's play this piece real quick, and we'll come back and we'll discuss it.
The poll taken by Newsweek magazine, I think you said that this was the leaders
who said that, who went with King and against Mr. Muhammad around 90%. I just told you a little while ago, these leaders that they call leaders, this included Lena Horne, this included Dick Gregory, and this included comedians, comics, trumpet players, baseball players. Show me in the white community where a comedian is a white leader. Show me in the white community where a singer is a white leader, or a dancer or a trumpet player is a white leader. These aren't leaders. These are puppets and clowns that have been set up over the white community and over the black community by the white community and have been made celebrities and usually say exactly what they know that the white man wants to hear. And it is an honor, actually, that they endorsed Dr. Martin Luther King and were against the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's actually an honor. Now, when you say that they also, in the same Newsweek poll magazine, I think the pollster said that he went into the Negro community and asked about the Muslims. And many Negroes whom he asked said, well, I never heard of the Muslims. Who are they? You know,
this is the rank and file we're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Now, when they got down to the rank and file, this was the answers that they got. This is the equivalent to the situation in Kenya during the Mau Mau uprising, when many frightened whites in Kenya, Africa, would go among the Africans and ask them, what about the Mau Mau? And the African would say, I never heard of them. And the same white man who would ask the African this question and very naively believe what the African said, when he went to bed that night, he would lose his head. And usually the one who took his head was the same African who told him that afternoon he had never heard of the Mau Mau.
Except in the Newsweek poll, they used Negro interviewers.
You'll find that oftentimes Negroes are as much on guard around Negro interviewers, who usually represent the bourgeois element of Negroes, as they are on guard around whites. Usually Negroes know that when this bourgeois Negro walks through the door, he is not doing something that he's initiated himself, but he's involved in something in which the white man is the absolute author of and has sent him to the Negro community for some information. And when they give that Negro some information, usually they give him the information that they want him to take back to the white man, because that's who he's going to take it back to.
Our time is just about up, Minister Malcolm, and perhaps you could summarize and conclude by giving us, in your opinion, or in the opinion of Mr. Elijah Muhammad, what would be the ideal solution to the racial problem in the United States today?
Well, on Thursday, October the 3rd, the New York Tribune, in an editorial, pointed out in Boston, in an article called The Civil Rights Iceberg, they pointed out how Kennedy had realized that beneath the water, the civil rights whole problem was political suicide. Because in his own hometown, the head of the Board of Education, a woman named Mrs. Hicks, was running against the NAACP philosophy, and she swept aside all other opposition. The whole white community supported her in opposition to the NAACP's desire for integrated schools, integrated housing, and otherwise. So I say that to say this, that even the Jewish community, which is supposed to be pro-liberal, went against the NAACP. Whites are against integration in practice, but they're for it in principle. So the only solution is separation. And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad says that this can be brought about simply by letting our people be exposed to the truth about ourselves, about the white man, about our history and our condition in this country. And once we are exposed to the complete truth about things as they actually exist in this country, the masses of black people will choose complete separation from this entire system, political system, economic system, social system, and whatever other aspect or description or adjective you want to attach to it. Let us go back home to our own people, live among our own kind, and solve our own problems ourselves. And if the white man doesn't want us to go back to our own people and live in our own country, then since we can't get along together in peace on this country with white people, let us separate part of this continent, migrate to that separate territory, let the government give us everything we need to establish our own independent economic system and society, and thereby we'll be able to solve our own problems ourselves and prove that we are human beings and a part of the human family and can do for ourselves what other humans have done for themselves. And then we'll be able to...
I mean, he made it plain. He made it plain. Like, I don't understand. So, when people come to me peddling that stuff, I swat it away like a dead fly. Because this is crazy. Don't come to me peddling these folks to me. Don't peddle these folks to me. Don't tell me, and I hate when people say that, we need these entertainers to step up. No, they don't. No, they can get some bread in the background. I don't want none of them speaking for me. Their job is to be entertainers. They are liars by trade. Period. So I don't need no entertainers to speak up for me. But your thoughts on that piece, Sister Marcia, with Brother Malcolm?
Nah, Nana Baba Malcolm spoke it clear and plainly. And till today, we still don't understand what he is saying. So many people are just like, oh, well, that's redefining his words to fit their context of ideology. And it's pure and simple. As long as we are amongst them, we are against ourselves. And there's no other way for us to make it plain. Like, when we were creating our own music, let's go back to last week with music. Our music meant something. Our music awoken spirits. Our music were conversation piece. Today's music, I don't even understand what's going on with the lyrics of today's music. Like, maybe 2 weeks ago I was saying some positive things, but this week, what I've heard on radio, I'm completely done. I am completely done. And it's hard because, again, you see the babies are listening to this. And when you speak to their parents about, let's go somewhere. I'm sorry, there's light and I'm sweating and I'm hot. Sorry.
It's all right, sis. We all suffering out here. Trust and believe. And I forgot to turn the AC on downstairs too. So I feel you.
So, it's just so hard to get like a real conversation with our own contemporaries. I'm not even worried about, the 50-year-olds anymore. Well, shoot, that could be our contemporaries too lately. But the 70-year-olds, I'm not even worried about them because they've already made their pact with life and society. Just funnel those
Most, not all. Most, not all.
Even the not all parts have acquiesced in one form or another. And at this point, plus 70, you are not here to fight. You are here to serve as something else. And people need to understand their roles. Plus 70, you serve in another role. And you're supposed to give us guidance if you have the
Yeah,
time.
that's what I meant. I didn't mean it like physically fighting. I meant like you still know what to do and you got good information. Let's use it.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Agreed. And for me, I just leave it alone because there is no representation for me for what I need right now. As I said to my new councilman in this 42nd district, I said that to him. Neither of you are representing anything that I need. So how can I give you my vote? But we're gonna move right along. I like what Brother Peter Brown said. He said, "No species on this earth is comfortable as a complete dependent of another species." Absolutely.
Absolutely.
And the
You
first thing that has to be done, no matter what it is that we do for ourselves, Brother Peter, we have to have a mechanism to protect it. Because, I say this often, we've had many Black Wall Streets, we've had many Black towns and communities that we fostered and made successful. However, they are no more because we had no mechanism to protect it, politically or militarily. There was no mechanisms to protect it. And so as I see Black business flourishing now around the country, I fear the same is going to happen again, especially with the press for AI and other mechanisms that are being pressed afoot. So I see the same things happening again. And when we look back on history for this time, we will see that Black people were complicit in their own oppression by way of the vote. So I think that we have to adhere to what Brother Malcolm was saying. Digest it, break it down and make it as plain and clear as possible for yourselves so that you can be progressive in your approach and what it is that you want and what it is that you need at this particular time. Dr. Filet on the check-in, MWM, she says, watch carefully. We will be supporting this historic action. And who will not, as we know, now move forward the development of the continuations of the visions and missions of the work of our great Black warriors. Always, you can find out what's going on with MWM on the Facebook page, Thorough Black Talk page. Everything she sends, I repost it there so you guys can see it. Yes, Sister Marie, I got one right here. Always. Because I got equipment in here too, so I always got to keep, the flow. Sister Vanessa says facts because I don't want to be a part of anything or build anything if we aren't going to protect it and keep outsiders out. That's fact. Sister Vera says that is because our people were just peaceful people. They were minding their business and did not expect white folks would bother them. Well, not just that, but because of tribal wars, right? It's easy to manipulate one group over another to fight on their behalf. You can see that, I know that you are in education. Children will do that too, right? They will use one parent against the other or another student against a teacher and so on and so forth. It's the nature of tribalism, which is why we have to be very, very careful with tribalism, right? It's okay to have differences. It's okay to have, different cultures, right? But you have to understand that when it comes to battle and war, you have allies, and then you use those allies for a time being, and then you move on. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's how you use it, right? How we use it. So I just wanted to bring up that point. But I got to change my battery and my alarm. Everything going crazy today. Everything. But before we move into the next topic, go ahead, sis.
No, I said it's the heat making everything go haywire.
True indeed, because it's going crazy over here.
Hey, Keisha, can I touch something you said a few minutes?
Go ahead, brother.
I want to touch this real quick. You were saying about how, we're going to contribute to our demise. Remember, I don't like quoting the Bible and stuff like that, but 2/3 of the people are reprobates. They're never going to get it. And the ones that survive are going to barely make it, and they're going to have to change. There's no alternative to that. Everything bad has a flip side to it that ain't being spoken about in the mainstream media. I'm talking on a earthly level and on a cosmic one. The Schumann resonance, if y'all know what that is, y'all need to be checking it. It is off the meat rack twice. They were saying some years ago it would never go over 40. It'd be in the 200s and 300s now. We're living in a totally different world. I already told you about the Great Awakening and all that other stuff. So we got to focus on, that's a balance to what we're talking about actively as we speak. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Agree, brother. Agree. And for our TBT throwback, you don't gotta listen to me. You don't gotta listen to Malcolm. But Sister Soldier made it plain too.
Okay.
Did you ever say, I read somewhere where you said you have never met any good white people?
I said in the beginning of my slavery video that I hadn't met any good white people. And my definition of good is that you understand that this is a question of power. that you be willing to give up some power, that you be willing to give up some resources, that you be willing to pay Black people reparations for our years and years of service in this country, that you be willing to go home and tell your white mother and father about white racism and how it affects and kills Black people in our communities. That's my definition of good white people, and I haven't met any like that.
Speaking of power, how about empowerment? One of the criticisms that the mainstream community has of us is that we are lacking in family values. We're children having children and men running the streets.
Right.
What do you say to that?
Well, I think that the economic system in this country and the justice system in this country contributes to the delinquency and the destruction of the African family. I think the fact that 25% of the Black male population is either in prison or under court supervision shows you that a lot of children will not have fathers. I think the fact that the economic system does not embrace or allow African men to have a substantial position in it is the reason why you have so many people committing crimes. So I think it's just hypocritical and some type of trickery for white people and the government and the media to say.
Did you ever say, I read some...
Gotta agree. You gotta agree. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. But go ahead, sis. Go ahead. I see you. Go ahead.
And no one is addressing the fact that she said this 20 years ago to us.
30 years ago.
30 years ago. Nah, not 30. But okay, 30 years ago, she was talking to us. And it's very few of us that heard what she was saying. Yes, we may have, like myself, become part of the system a little bit, but realize real quick that you don't belong in there. And it'll take you some time, but it's devastating. And even to see, like Nana Baba, Malcolm X was saying that, you know, these artists aren't representing leadership and stuff like that, which I agree. But when you hear some sisters calling out sisters like India Ari saying, you cannot be doing the things that you're doing on stage in front of other people. And, you know, Jill Scott recently said something about using the B word in every positive connotation as if it was something different. I'm not saying that it's okay, but what I'm saying is that sometimes there is a voice that we need to listen to. And what I didn't like is the fact of how everyone in the interstreets was saying, oh, these old ladies need to go sit down. We're here, we're taking the stage. But why? Remember when Janet Jackson got pulled off, got banned for showing off her stuff, and now this other girl is just flipping it all over the place? Like, I don't understand. And tailoring it back into what Sister Soldier was saying, it's the mere fact that there is no standard in our community. And now with all these men coming home that did those bids 25, 30 years ago that are coming home, they're coming home to see degenerates. They left society because it was probably too strict for them, and they needed, you know, to make a stand on something, right? And maybe they did, and maybe they didn't. But now it's pure degeneracy that's going on out here. These 16-year-olds running around with guns like it's a game. I don't know. When I was 16, we may have had guns, but we weren't running around like it was a game. We knew that life was something.
Wait. Now hold on. Hold on. I gotta tell that truth. You know, we grew up in the crack era, so I don't know. It was hot and heavy in 4th grade.
Who you talking about? We? Who's we?
Black too. He was the leader of the pack. So don't
Hey, you got me working in the White House now? What's up with that?
It's up over there. They got some pure powder over there.
The crack house. Huh?
Well, that's what they say. You know, some powder-like substance resembling cocaine was found at the White House.
No,
Who
it
getting
was
high over
cocaine.
there?
They ain't say cocaine like. They said it was cocaine. Every report I see said cocaine, period.
Say that again. Say that
So evidence all over the house. Hunter was a bad boy.
Hey, but sisters, check this out real quick. Ain't it crazy we living in a day where this is like so like routine? Like that would like 20 years ago, that would have been the story. You wouldn't hear about submarines, Jamie Foxx, nothing. It would have been that on CNN for 24 hours straight. No breaks.
Now,
Cocaine found in the White House.
drugs are legal now, and you're not gonna do 3 strikes and you're out laws. That doesn't apply anymore because it just doesn't apply.
I'm just talking about the caucasity of it all.
Job they wanted to do was to take out the Black family. They succeeded. We see the evidence in front of us. They have succeeded.
Brother Kev said Biden is a snowman. Yeezy been at the White House, so I don't know. Young Jeezy been at the White House. Who knows? I'm telling you. But all I'm saying is, you people say Hunter, but you don't know who it was. It could have been anybody. I don't know who it was. They found some cocaine at the White House. So I posted who getting high at the White House. That's all I want to know. Who getting high at the White House? Sister Pat said, don't forget about the drug Connolly house. Yeah. Yeah. Come on, stop playing over here. Stop playing over here. But, get high, get high, get high. And vote for them. It's crazy. But,
Monica Lewinsky, what she got to do?
I wanted us to have a reminder, for those who be shucking down for the Democratic Party. Let's play this reminder for those who may have forgotten. Hold on, here we go.
Country is doomed. It is doomed, not just because of African Americans, but because by 2040, this country is going to be minority white European. You hear me? Minority white European. And you guys are going to have to start working more with Hispanics, who make up a larger portion of the population than y'all do in terms of raw numbers. We're going to have to be working with a whole group of people that, in fact, are the single most diverse democracy in American history and anywhere in the world. This country is doomed.
So I don't want nobody peddling that Democratic vote over here. Do not come over here peddling that stuff. Don't tell me, well, we got to work with what we got, because you're going to get the business and it's not going to be pretty. So don't come peddling that over here.
But wait a minute. What we got had showed us 1994 crime bill. He showed us. He told us who he was. But y'all just kept, oh, well, people change. People don't change. People are who they are. They show you who they are in the beginning. You're the one with the delusion that's like, oh, yeah, maybe they change. Maybe it'll be different. It won't be different. What they showed you in the beginning is what will be in the end. It is about you creating that survival practice. And
I just want us to remember.
I just want to see it.
I asked several politicians, be careful. Your vote, I'm telling you, boy, you are voting for some crazy stuff. I'm still waiting for a politician to explain to me why this is okay. Is this what you voting for, y'all? Is this, I'm asking, the Democratic voters out here, is this what y'all voting for? Yeah, because that's what you got. That's what you got. I'm telling you, don't throw the stone and hide your hand. It is what it is. You gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. You gotta eat that. But we moving on. Sister Vera said, very disgusting. Naked adults riding around
with babies. They have all their little. I was disgusted when I saw that video. And it doesn't make no sense. You're walking around abusing children. This is sexual abuse, plain and simple. And everyone is saying, oh, it's okay. It's okay. And a child make a decision at what is the new thing? You don't define a child's gender at birth. It's defined several years later when the child could decide. What are you saying?
Thanks to the voters. Thanks to the voters.
And
But
XI and XX doesn't matter anymore? What are we saying? Natural science doesn't exist anymore? What are we saying? And why are we allowing this? I just don't understand why we go and buy Hennessy and listen to trashy music versus figuring out solutions.
this is easy. And training a psychology is very hard to break, right? Dr. Amos Wilson talked about that in Blueprint for Black Power. You know, we've taken on a mentality that isn't our own. And so now everybody is running around manic right now. People are running around manic. Like, you could just have conversations with people. You'd be like, what the hell are they talking about? It's crazy. But we're going to move on to something different. And before we get back to our news, because I know people are watching and they want to find out what's going on with the Black. Sorry about that, family. Black Women Bike and Hike event that's coming up August 6th, 2023. Shirley Chisholm Park. Be there. 11 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. Now, there will be some bikes available for rent. The park rents bikes for free. You have to bring your driver's license or New York State ID or wherever you're coming from. You have to bring identification to rent the bikes for free. Now, for those who cannot ride long distances, you will remain in the park grounds and you can ride the trails there. Some of us who are a little bit more advanced will be riding to Floyd Bennett Field, which is quite a few miles, but we'll be back. We will all meet at the main entrance on the Pennsylvania Avenue side. There is free parking. There is parking on the Pennsylvania Avenue side. There is parking on the Fountain Avenue side. The bike library, if you want to rent, is on the Fountain Avenue side. Once you rent your bike, you can ride it over the connector and meet us all at the Pennsylvania entrance, the Pennsylvania Avenue entrance. Sorry. Bring plenty of water. Pack a light lunch or snack. What else I wanted to say? Oh, if you can, please wear white t-shirts. White t-shirts. White t-shirts. If you can, please, tank tops or whatever. It's going to be hot. I'm telling you right now. It's a Sunday. We're going to be easy like Sunday morning. And we're going to ride out. We're going to have a good time. So I'm going to play this video, and then me and Miss Marcia will come back and we'll discuss it. Hold on, family. So family, get ready for the black family, black family bike and hike. It's free, no charge. I'm not trying to hustle nobody, or we not trying to hustle nobody. Bring your family, come out, ride bikes. If you don't ride bikes, you can't hike. Scenery is beautiful, as you can see, in my humble opinion, not just because I'm in the East, but it is the best park in the city of New York. So come through. You won't believe it. You'll have a good time, and you'll get the fellowship with people from the community. So if you got a business, you got an organization, a better way to come out and reach the people free of charge, free of charge. I ain't charging nobody nothing, not selling no t-shirts, nothing. All I ask is that you wear a white t-shirt, wear a white t-shirt. Why? Because we want to look as a group. And two, when you're wearing white in the sun, it is very reflective, so you can recognize people from your group easier that way. And also, we are on the Jamaica Bay Greenway bike paths along the Belt Parkway, and it was our ancestors who cleared those greenways. So we're going to wear white in honor of them as well. Thank you, Sister Vera. She said the video is beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Shirley Chisholm Park is amazing. Plant-based kitchen on the check-in. They're going to be in a house. You saw them in the video clip. Sister Marcia in the video clip.
Don't forget mushrooms, plant-based. Just package have little mushroom packages just for me.
Plant-based might get some orders. They gotta pull up. They might get some orders. But this was what it's about. Coach Tad Cromwell will be in the building. So different people, different businesses, different organizations coming together, fellowship, have fun, have a good time, then go home and go to sleep. Sister Marcia, are you ready for August 6th, 2023?
For August 6th. Thank you. I love plant-based. I haven't been riding my bike lately, but I'm gonna have to get back into training. Early in the mornings, it's nice and cool out here. I'll go to the park and do a couple of loops around. There's the sister, her family has the last black owned bike business, repair shop and business on Springfield. I don't remember the address off the top of my head, but I have to take my bike to her to get her family to fix it. I'll get the address next time so that people could know that, if you buy your bikes in the inter streets because it's cheaper, they'll hook it up for you and stuff like that, because nobody wants to do labor.
Facts. And there's also, glad you mentioned that, there's a brother who has a bike service business. He is usually parked up at Canarsie Piers. So in case you're riding and you catch a flat or whatever, he's right there. He can fix it for you. He's there every day. He'll be out there that Sunday as well to take care of all your biking needs. Also, when you come to the park, if you need some air in your tires or whatever, at the bike library, they'll do that for you there. So bring your scooters, bring your e-bikes, all of that, skates, all of that. Totally up to you. Now if you want to ride the Floyd Bennett with some skates, I want to see that, because you are a superhero if you can do that, for real. So take pictures, take some video. Just make sure you send it back to Sister Keisha, because I'm going to put together a nice video of the day so everybody can see it. We're going to tag it with Outdoor Afro and some other footwear brands. So next time in 2024, hopefully y'all can get y'all some free sneakers and all of that when you pull up. So when you're out there on Sunday, August 6th. So, get your errands done the Saturday before, do all of that. You'll be done by 3:30 in the afternoon on August 6th. You can go home and still have your full day and chill out, get ready for work the next day or send the kids to camp or whatever it is that you do. Now, also, if you are bringing your children, it's your responsibility to watch your children and the other children that are in the park. You understand? Please have them wear white as well. Please have them wear white as well. I'm telling you. So, Brother Black, wish you could be here, but I know you can't. You be with us in spirit. For all of you who are going, make sure you stretch, stretch, stretch. I cannot stress that enough. Stretch, stretch, stretch. Especially if you're riding to Floyd Bennett Field. Everything is in Brooklyn. The bike lanes are completely protected. You're safe. You don't have to worry about crossing the streets, riding in the streets, none of that. Even for those of us who will be going down to Floyd Bennett Field, no streets, completely bike path, and the scenery, I'm telling you.
So how many is it from Church Floyd?
It's about 11 miles, something like that. So, but check this out.
22 miles.
Say that again.
It's 22 miles. You're on mute, sis.
Oh, sorry. It's easy. You can do it. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me. Trust me.
My poor.
Like I said, bring all that. Bring all your stuff.
Hey, Keisha, ain't Floyd Bennett Field at the end of Flatbush Avenue?
It is. It's way at the end.
Yeah.
So they're going to be riding from Erskine in East New York all the way down there.
That's 20. Brother
That's
Black, you want to join us?
Nah, I can't make it, sweetie. Next time.
Yeah. Just know that I'll be on the back of the line. And when y'all turn around, I'm turning around too. But I'm going to stick it to it. Listen, people, I am never one to lie about who I am. Okay. I may not be able to go the full distance, but I will not stop until everybody comes back. And once people coming back, okay, let's go back.
Yes, indeed. We are going to stop, though. For everybody who's going to Floyd Bennett Field, we're going to stop at Canarsie Piers for a break, and then we'll continue, and then we'll head on back.
I'm ready for it.
I like it. I wish I could make it.
I know, Brother Black, but we're going to be riding for you. We're going to be riding for you.
Okay. I'm going to make a miracle happen. I'm going to try my best. That's all I can give you.
Oh, it's going to take a miracle. What's the lyrics? Whatever. It's going to take a miracle.
Denise Williams, right? Yes. So we might add that to the Thorough Black Talk playlist, music playlist. It's a lot up there already. I gotta finish it.
I'll add it if it ain't there.
I gotta finish it. I will definitely do it this week, and I'll finish it. It's so much up there. You got something for everybody up there. You got Al Green up there. You got Barry White. You got X-Clan. You got Lauryn Hill. You got Diggable Planets. You got PMD. You got Eric Sermon. You got Keith Murray. You got Redman.
Oh,
you got Maxwell. You got Jill Scott. You got Erica Badu. Goody Mob. I'm telling you, it's something for everybody in the playlist.
Yeah, you won't go wrong with anything you just said, sis.
That's it. Gene Con, Sam Cooke, all of that in the playlist.
You heard my sister put them to the beat too? You got come on. Let's make a record label.
If you got Bluetooth speakers, for those people who ride, you know what I'm talking about. But bring your Bluetooth speakers. That way you can still hear what's going on around you. Be mindful when you're riding in the park. I know sometimes you want to ride next to your friend and have conversations, but you have to be mindful that there are other riders in the park as well. And riding side by side, you block the lane, and I don't want nobody yelling at y'all going crazy.
Conversation, not everybody.
Yes, Sister Vera, it is Brooklyn. Also, wildlife, plenty of wildlife. As you're going through the trails and in the park, you might see some rabbits, some geese, very beautiful, beautiful rare birds there as well. The park offers kayaking lessons for free, fishing lessons for free. Some people go crabbing, but you come down, you get the information. If you want to take part in those on your own time, then do so. But we're going to have a good time. So I hope to see all of y'all in the building. Shirley Chisholm Park, August 6th, 2023. That's Sunday, August 6th, 2023. We meet up at 11 a.m. Pennsylvania Street entrance. Okay? Free parking, don't worry about it. Nobody gonna charge you nothing. You pay taxes. The parking is free. Bike rentals are free. So come out and have fun. Looking forward to seeing everybody out there.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so say that again, sis.
I can't wait. That's like 30 days away. 31.
Yes. Yep. So you got plenty of time to get it together and get it popping. It's going to be a good time. So for those of you who want to know more about Shirley Chisholm Park, you can follow them on Instagram. You can Google the information, driving instructions, train information, bus information, all of it. Find it online. Please don't be inboxing me and say, well, what bus do I take? Or what train do I take? All the information is on Google. The same way you look for a sale, look for the instructions or how to get there. The bike library, I believe, opens at 11:30 a.m. So if you get there kind of early and you're ready to rent your bike, but the library is closed, they don't open up to about 11:30, I believe, on Sundays. Okay, so don't get discouraged. You'll see us out there. Let's have a good time. Let's ride out. Now, I wanted to ask you all a question, right? Something came across my desk, and I'm going to play this, and then we'll come back and discuss, because this past weekend was what? 4th of July. 4th of July weekend. I want to show y'all something while a lot of people was out there celebrating. I hope this post came across y'all desk, but if it hasn't, let's go through it. July 4th, 1836. I have for sale 10 likely wrong Virginia and Carolina Negroes, for which I will take to New Orleans, acceptance at 6 or 9 months. Among them is a very superior cook, a good plantation seamstress, referred to S.V. Mitchell, Esquire. You know, we talked about these kidnapping clubs some episodes back on Thorough Black Talk. But, you know, when people talk about the nation and gaining its independence, while it was gaining its independence, it was enslaving others. Your thoughts on the 4th of July, Brother Black?
Man, 4th of July. 4th of July. It's crazy how even when you hear some of these so-called Republicans or conservatives, or at least the ones who's not dumping on us outright, you know, with racist rhetoric or actions for that matter. But it's kind of ironic how, like, when these so-called patriots speak today, how they always say freedom and so on and so forth, not mentioning 15% or more of your population couldn't say none of that, weren't even free enough to read at that time. I don't, you know, I'm glad you asked me this question, Sister Keisha, because I don't know if y'all saw some preacher, I believe in Florida, and he's the father of a politician, Dugar, or something like that, where he said that the slaves didn't go to Washington to protest at the White House. So, you know, good white people saved them, built churches, and then taught them how to read so they could read the Bible. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if y'all heard or saw that video.
Yes, yes, I saw it.
Yeah. So that kind of question reminded me of that situation. And I just wanted to bring that up inside of the question. It's a lie, and it was Frederick Douglass said all he had to say at his address said it all up to this very moment as we speaking right now.
Absolute fact. Sister Marcia, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm gonna veggie on the Frederick Douglass comment because he told us what is the 4th of July to us Negroes. We are neither independent nor free. And we still don't believe that. You know, will still pop fireworks as if it meant something for us and our liberation. And the unfortunate thing again is that, you know, I am more focused on our generation, that they are still stuck on stupid. Like, you have all the evidence in front of you, but you're still stuck on stupid. And I feel like it's our generation, those folks who don't want to believe, or those folks who are stuck in their structural organizations that has assisted them in becoming and surviving and stuff like that. Those are the people that I harp on the most, because you've been through the same cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs that I've been through in different forms, but there is no reason, there makes no sense in rhyme and reason why you still sit there and say, yeah, I gotta go to this job and do this and that and that, and yet you know that your children's education is failing them, and you don't want to take any part in fixing that system.
Speaking of that, let me digress for a minute. Open enrollment has started at Zayek's Institute. Open enrollment has started at Zayek's Institute here in Brooklyn and nationwide. Follow them on Instagram for more information. I wanted to play this clip since you brought it up by Frederick Douglass, and this is a reading by James Earl Jones of Frederick Douglass, July 5th, 1852 speech, What to the Slave is the 4th of July in Rochester, New York.
Once a slave, became a brilliant and powerful leader of the anti-slavery movement. In 1852, he was asked to speak in celebration of the 4th of July.
Fellow citizens, pardon me, and allow me to ask, why am I called upon to speak here today? What have I, or those I represent, to do with your national independence? Are the great principles of political freedom and of natural justice embodied in that Declaration of Independence extended to us? And am I, therefore, called upon to bring our humble offering to the national altar and to confess the benefits and express devout gratitude for the blessings resulting from your independence to us? I am not included within the pale of this glorious anniversary. Your high independence only reveals the immeasurable distance between us. The blessings in which you this day rejoice are not enjoyed in common. The rich inheritance of justice, liberty, prosperity, and independence bequeathed by your fathers is shared by you, not by me. The sunlight that brought life and healing to you has brought stripes and death to me. This 4th of July is yours, not mine. You may rejoice, I must mourn. To drag a man in fetters into the grand illuminated temple of liberty and call upon him to join you in joyous anthems were inhuman mockery and sacrilegious irony. Do you mean, citizens, to mock me by asking me to speak today? What to the American slave is your 4th of July? I answer, a day that reveals to him more than all other days of the year the gross injustice and cruelty to which he is a constant victim, To him, your celebration is a sham. Your boasted liberty, an unholy license. Your national greatness, swelling vanity. Your sounds of rejoicing are empty and heartless. Your denunciation of tyrants, brass-fronted impudence. Your shouts of liberty and equality, hollow mockery. Your prayers and hymns, your sermons and thanksgivings, with all your religious parade and solemnity, are to him mere bombast, fraud, deception, impiety, and hypocrisy, a thin veil to cover up crimes that would disgrace a nation of savages. There's not a nation of the earth guilty of practices more shocking and bloody than are the people of these United States at this very hour. At a time like this, scorching irony, not convincing argument, is needed. Oh, had I the ability and could reach the nation's ear, I would today pour forth a stream, a fiery stream of biting ridicule, blasting reproach, withering sarcasm, and stern rebuke. For it is not light that is needed, but fire. It is not the gentle shower, but thunder. We need the storm, the whirlwind, the earthquake. The feeling of the nation must be quickened. The conscience of the nation must be roused. The propriety of the nation must be startled. The hypocrisy of the nation must be exposed, and the crimes against God and man must be proclaimed and denounced.
Clear. This was decided in 1852, and it still holds clear today.
Over 200 years.
Yes.
And we still popping fireworks as if we're free. Who got the fireworks this year? Oh, next year we gotta be firing it. Yo, it wasn't popping this year. Fireworks.
No, it was popping. Did y'all hear them fireworks that was going crazy?
Oh, you know, East New York might be a little different than where I'm from. My neighborhood, a couple of years ago, they were just blasting. This year, it was silent. They were blasting all night. Like, I found fire, like I had some service done on my roof, and the roofer was like, "Oh, you have all these fireworks. Oh my God." I was like, did it spark a little hole or something? Like, don't tell me anything if it's not a problem. But needless to say, they were just like disappointed that they didn't have as much sparkles.
It was too much. It was too much. And frankly, it got on my nerves. You know, these explosions that they've been doing. I have a video. I don't know if I'm gonna play it, but I have a video of what it was like out in the streets, and it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, and I pretty much at my wits end with it. So, and shout out to Mama playing bass.
Yeah.
Hold on. I gotta give Levada a shout out. You know, this is the Tony mother. I gotta give her love. I love her so much. I hope you coming to the bike and hike, Mama playing bass. I hope you coming, cause this is gonna be on and popping. I had to give her some love. Definitely that. Let me move Butter Black while he work out some things in the background. But I wanted y'all to I don't know if it happened in other cities. Yes, it did. It happened in Philadelphia, I know. It happened in Baltimore, I know. But I want to know if it happened in other places. This swarm of gnats and bugs that was just unbearable. Unbearable. And what? Oh man.
It wasn't in Carolina.
It was so bad. It was so bad. You could barely see in front of you. And this went on for a few days. These swarms of gnats or bugs or whatever it's called. But let me see. Hold on. Here we go.
What the? And look at this. These are bugs, bro. Look, people stopped it. So it's crazy, man. I'm trying to just go play basketball. Look at this.
It's not just smoke from Canada filling our skies. Swarms of insects filling the New York skies. They were simply inescapable. Anyone outside knows that. It may be tough to see the tiny critters on video. I was one of those swarmed by the buggers. They appeared around much of Manhattan and Brooklyn, causing something of a nuisance to anyone outside. The complaints started in small numbers. Some complained that this was a tad like some sort of biblical plague.
Well, given the kind of their translucent yellowish greenish color, that would be aphids. Now they flourish in some shrubbery that's actually west and north of New York State. And you know what? We've had more of a northwest flow the last couple of days. So, have some of those been carrying down into the tri-state area a possibility.
Listen, if you want to believe that what you smelling is coming from Canada, that's on you. We have not yet seen a bird. And I've been outside all day. I've been looking for birds.
Well, Queens missed it. Queens missed it.
Carolina, I missed everything. I heard it was there at the African Street Festival too. I missed it all.
I don't know. I didn't go to the International Arts Festival this year. I had other things to do. But it was so bad. Like the guy who was riding his bike, you see them all in his beard and everything. I had to ride. When I was riding in long sleeves. And it was hot. So I had to put on long sleeves. It's a good thing that I wear transition lenses, right? In my glasses. Because if you didn't have any sunglasses or anything to cover your eyes, they was definitely going in your eyes. Definitely going in your eyes. So, Brother Black, what you got? Is this the apocalypse? What's going on? I don't know.
I believe so, because you have to look, like I said, there are different timelines. Look at it like this. In the last days, they said swarm of locusts will invade the land and eat everything, right? Okay, now, this could be the good guys mocking the bad guys, if you will, and showing them, instead of those aphids, because the name of the bugs is called aphids. They're harmless. They mostly eat leaves and stuff like that. They don't bite. They're not venomous or anything like that. They don't have stingers or none of that. So basically, it could be them mocking them, because remember, I told you a few weeks ago when y'all had the first smoke situation coming from Canada, as they say, and I told y'all it was the red iron oxide dust, and then they were shooting flames into the forest to make the smoke come into the United States, knowing when the wind was preferable for that is what y'all was smelling, along with them 60,000 tons of toxic chemicals that got stolen some months ago. That's a conclusion I've come to. Not that's the story that I got the proof, and I can send you the the receipts and all. I don't have that, but what I'm saying is I could conclusively put those things together. This second batch, I believe, that more covered the Midwest, Chicago, Detroit up there, Milwaukee, those cities up there. They got it real bad this last time, and I believe that was a second dose of red iron oxide dust. Because people were smelling smoke, but remember, you got the lakes right there, so they all carry their winds. Anywhere they're going, they usually try to do those things when the wind is going that way for maximal effect. So as far as the aphids, it could be a mockery, because I believe what I just told you, or it was just a freak of nature, once in a lifetime thing. Because those things usually, I lived in the suburbs of New York. And so I know about, those different type of bugs. They're harmless for the most part. They can get swarmy up in the suburbs, but they usually don't come. They might come to like Far Rockaway and places that's more natural as opposed to Midtown Manhattan or downtown Brooklyn.
So Far Rock missed it. They missed it. Shout out to the history hitman. He says Martin Delaney and Henry Holland Garnett were the greatest black men of that period. But the greatest speech for the 4th of July was by Frederick Douglass, hands down. No doubt about that.
Sis, you heard about the bee swarm that had happened a few weeks ago or a few months ago in New York? Like they had to shut down a few streets in Manhattan because the bees were just like, and that I was like, oh, the apocalypse now. Because who wants bees all over the place?
I don't. Keep them away from me. But we're gonna move on, family. Something came across my timeline that I thought I'll share. But as you listen to this sister talk, because I see a lot of people moving away from various neighborhoods to move amongst the others, and then things are happening when you're isolated, right? As if nobody remember John White's story, right? Can't isolate yourself with folks, but the fundamental human connection that is missing when you do that, when you move into these areas where it's you or maybe one or two of yous, and you're uncomfortable, things can happen, and we don't want those things to happen. We want to stay in the yellow. Brother Kifaru always taught us, when it comes to being a survivalist, you got to stay in the yellow. And moving into various areas by yourselves can be quite disturbing. So I want to play this clip and then we'll come back and discuss it.
I want to say it. Raising kids in the suburbs where you're the minority is some bull. And I get the goal is to have the best opportunities, the best school, the best education. But honestly, at what cost? Because while as a parent, you're worrying about their academics and opportunities, kids just trying to fit in. And they're looking around for ways to connect to other kids. What do we have in common beside our address? Maybe it's hair color or eye color. Maybe it's language. Maybe it's anime. Maybe it's gender or music. And that's all fine when they're young. But as they develop pre-adolescence, when they start really seeing themselves and trying to figure out who they are or who they're becoming, it becomes a little more complicated because they start noticing certain dynamics and they start feeling marginalized. Always on the fray of a thing, but not in the mix of it. Sleepovers where other moms know each other better than your mom know any of the moms because they hang out or they go to the same synagogue or the same church. And then there's the biases, conscious or unconscious. I mean, your kid might be really good at the sport, but the dads that hang out together kind of look alike, and so they tend to pick each other's kids as top kids on the team. Or your daughter or son never gets a solo in a dance performance, and you don't want to pull out the race card and say that's it. But you might feel it in the pit of your stomach, though. And if you don't have a community for your child, the struggle is real. Because they really feel alone, fighting for their lives, trying to figure out who they are. Self-loathing starts. They just want to fit in. One of the things I noticed is when I went back home to the hood, and yeah, the area looks depressing, the buildings are dilapidated or whatever, but going into the store, there is a real sense of community amongst my own that I didn't notice before. Like the way that we just organically talk to each other in the aisles, calling each other baby, ma'am, sir, honey. Like if my boys were walking around in the store in the hood, somebody else's mom is going to call them baby. Baby, can you pick that up for me? Honey, can you get that over there? Ain't nobody in Wegmans calling my sons baby or honey. And it's a subtle.
It's true. And I want to stop that there because I want you to remember how she says she looks for that companion, that someone will call her baby, baby or honey. Now, keep that in mind as Samuel Jackson explains the situation that happened with his wife and Tupac Shakur.
I remember one specific story. My wife was on that film. She was the chubby kid's mom, and I guess Pop was walking through a room one day and he was cussing somebody up. My wife grabbed him and was like, "Young man, you see all these women sitting in here? You can't be in here cursing, blah blah blah." And everybody in the room was like, and he looked at her and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am." And everybody was like, and he apologized, blah, 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 and he left. Everybody in the room was like, do you know who that was? She was like, no, I have no idea who he was, but he shouldn't have been cursing in front of all these women in this room, blah, blah, blah. And from that point on, every time he saw her, he was like, hey, Mom, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. You know,
Yeah.
She
that
has
kind of
that
kid.
kind of energy.
Yeah.
For real. It's beautiful.
Yeah. But no, it's a joy to work with those guys, man. It was a joy. I remember once.
So again, that family connection, that community, that connection. So when people, they leave various neighborhoods and they isolate themselves, it's a whole lot of situations that can take place. And you don't realize it, or they don't realize it until they have moved into these areas and they see the problems at hand. But, sometimes you can't go back. You see what I'm saying? Sometimes you can't. So it may be certain situations where you live, like with the crazy fireworks that was happening, this past. I don't care. I'm staying right where I'm at. I can't live, even if I leave New York, I gotta live around black people. I cannot live around, even when I went to Wyoming, I went to the blackest part of Wyoming. You understand what I'm saying? Like I gotta be around my own people. Don't put me in those strange places for some strange things to take place. I'm not trying to feel that at all. But Sister Marcia, your thoughts on that clip?
I just spent a few days in North Carolina with a high school friend, and she moved to an area where there are less of her around in order to give her daughter the best opportunity in terms of education. And we were talking about, what would that mean in terms of her proximity to her own kind and how she would relate. And she was like, I do try to continue to immerse her in certain cultural things over here, in a more predominantly us section versus where she currently lives. And that's the catch 22. You want your child to have the absolute best educational um, programs around. What does that mean? Especially if they're not taught about who they are. And this is why African on the Rise exists, because you are in these predominant, thank you, sis, you are in these predominant environments, and yet you don't learn about yourself when you truly need to learn about yourself. You need to learn about yourself and how courageous you can be when you're young and not 18 in high school, and then you have your first African studies class and you're just like, oh my God, it's all about us. So it is crucial to understanding your potential and understanding the breadth and legacy of our people. And it doesn't only result in taking them out, because you feel like if I take them out, they can become the best that they can be, and at the end of the day, they won't know to respect their auntie when they're walking by. And Tupac was, we don't know his whole story, but we do know that he had a level of structure around him that would make him be like, yeah, I'm really not supposed to talk to someone like that. And thanks, auntie or ma, for checking me. And that's what everyone needs today. They need that check. But too often, when grandma and daughter and granddaughter are competing with each other, there is no accountability or level of checks and balances, because everyone's trying to be, hot girl summer. Like there's grandma summer, there's mama summer, and there's hot girl summer. We're not the same hot girls.
I don't want no parts of those shenanigans. I stay out of trouble. I stay out of trouble. I stay out of trouble. We getting ready to close out, family, but before we do, I wanted to go to Jill Scott. in her rendition of the Star Spangled Banner. So let's get to it.
Oh, say, can you see by the blood in the streets that this place doesn't smile on you, colored child, whose blood built this land with sweat and bare hands. But you'll die in this place, and your memory reigns. Oh, say, does this truth hold this is not the land of the free, but the home of the slave.
Gotta love Jill Scott. Gotta love Jill Scott. Gotta love Jill Scott. Brother home, Philly in the building. Philly in the building. Let's get ready to close out, family. Brother Black, your final thoughts.
Love the song. I hate the song. Love the singer.
Wait, Brother Black. She changed the words. What you talking about?
I heard that, but
The lyrics.
yeah, I heard it.
Dun,
I heard it.
Go
And the
ahead.
home of the slave. I heard it. I love Jill. I met Jill before, so and she was beautiful and radiant. Hate the song, but we moving into some very interesting times. A lot of people forgot about the dying suddenly dynamic all of a sudden, and now we seeing people dying again, in mysterious ways, starting with Damar Hamlin and on till now. Some chick named Coco Lee from a group from the 90s died yesterday or the day before. She was pretty popular, but maybe not as an individual name. I just had a great talk with the sisters tonight. I ain't got nothing to report. We see what's going on out here. They found cocaine in the White House. I'm still thinking about the caucasity of it all. Forget about who brought it in, how they got it in, who was going to use it, whatever. For me, it's just the caucasity. We forget that a ship that the Hiltons owned maybe 3 or 4 years ago got found with like 20 keys of cocaine, and nobody ever went to jail for it. So it's just a continuation of everything else we've seen, and we're going to keep seeing it till it's officially over, which will be soon. I already stated those reasons why. I'm not going to take too long because I love y'all, and I'm going to see y'all next week on the bridge. Peace.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Plant-based, Sister Tony agreed with you. She said, I don't like that slave word because we was enslaved, not slave. Uh-oh. Sister Tony get hot. Calm down, Sister Tony. Calm down. We don't want no trouble. Sister Marcia, your final thoughts and commentary.
Yes, we are prisoners of war. I agree, but I do like her rendition. you know, sometimes it just takes a little something to get people to have a conversation for folks that are really listening. I want us all to continue to have conversations. It is important. It is important for us to understand who we are and where we are politically right now. Sister Keisha continues to tell us about politicians that are doing wrong in our community. And we must evaluate the political system locally. The hell with the government, the presidency that truly has no direct impact on us if we can't control our local politicians by whatever means necessary. So continue to have dialogues, invest in ourselves, invest in understanding who we can become, because our potential is endless. And I'm so happy affirmative action is out the window so that people can no longer say you didn't get here because you only got here because. No, I got here because I am, and not because they said I could. Okay, so let's remember the I ams, and we are all wonderful. Have a wonderful week. And I am blessing you with many times to flourish and be great, because we are all great. Thank you, Sister Keisha, Brother Black. Brother Tab, Brother Ashe, what y'all at? Where's the dialogue, brothers?
They working tonight. They working tonight. They working tonight.
You know, make
that money.
Make
gotta
money.
make that money.
Not mad at them. I'm not mad at them. I'm just saying, you know, miss y'all.
Hey, Sister Marcia, this is an indirect way of saying they got them other two got it. They good. We good with Sister with her.
It keeps us all on point.
There you go. There you go. There you go. Love my brothers, Brother Tad and Brother Ashe. They watching though. They definitely are watching. Brother Ray said Biden and Hunter need a meeting. They do need a 12-step meeting. Shout out to the VK William Mackey History Club. Yes, indeed, Brother Ray. Yes, indeed. Now, now people are bringing up legacy entrance, right? People are getting pissed off, First is affirmative action. Now they're going to deal with legacy interest. Yeah, okay. More shenanigans, more distractions. It is what it is. Stay focused, family. Stay focused, stay focused, stay focused. Keep your head on the swivel at all times. I want y'all to be safe out of here. Remain cool, calm, and collected. Unless a Ken or Karen gets out of line and whoop that ass. You understand? Anyway, if you want more information about the Black Family Bike and Hike, please DM Thorough Black Talk on Instagram or on Facebook, and we'll get back to you with those details. My brother and sister, I'll see you on the other side. Be well. Good night, family. We out.
Peace.